Oh, of course, and you should, and that's the best part of being a streamer. And well, and what? I guess what happens though if we continue to have that war go along and there's updates, they'll end it. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, and well, that totally makes sense. So we're a minute out here, so I guess we'll start with introductions. I'll just start it now. We've already kind of started talking and stuff. Uh, you guys are some of the most popular streamers and/or content creators for Foxhole. Not a lot of introduction needed, but Robert, I'll let you go first. Introduce yourself to everyone. Heck yeah, Finch. Oh, oh, oh. Okay, well this is hold on, boys.
With my boy Jazzy of the Royal Regiment in Foxhole. Yeah,
Okay,
that's all I got.
Brand new
perfect,
regiment.
Brand
perfect.
new regiment. We're 3 wars old, except for the first one. That didn't really count. It was like a half war, whatever.
All right, perfect. I'm Big Bear Berg. I am the owner of this podcast, the Graveyard slash Boneyard. We're still taking a vote on that in the Bone Discord. I'm the commander of Bone, and this is just an opportunity for me to get together with some other content creators here, and just anyone really in Foxhole, and just hear their thoughts on the game and what they would like to see in it, and what they would like to change within the game and their opinions on it. And going in with that, the first question I have for you guys: what in the game at this moment would you like to see changed? What would you like to see added or changed in the game at this exact moment? With War 120 just wrapping up on Able.
I always have.
You go first. You
Okay,
go
yeah.
first, Robert.
I always have my same one that I use all the time until the devs try it out, and it's just a logistical thought of I wish that they would put like a logi queue in for hexes that I can designate myself as a logi player, and it holds like 5 or 10 slots. I can come in, do logi, get out, so I'm not like blocking the tanks that want to get in, any artillery, offensive, and the thing that it would implement is like as I'm in the logi queue, when you get into that offensive hex, you have like 10 to 15 minutes, and then it'll kick you out if you're like, you know, if you're just wandering around. Because I feel like I hear some complaints a lot of the times where people are bringing in logi and then staying to fight on the front, and people don't like that for some reason. But that would like alleviate that. So I would like to see a logi queue. That's always the thing I want to see the most. Just try it out. If it doesn't work, fine. If it's stupid, whatever. Just try it out.
I
I think that they gotta. I think they gotta fix that tank aiming system, man. I'm miserable right now. You
oh
can be
About
aimed
it.
in at 100%, still miss, dude. Like, there's no real like ever since the last update, there's been no real consistent way to always make sure that you're hitting your shots. It's a little frustrating. It's not. It's really not the biggest deal.
Just too much like
But
RNG.
there's a little bit of RNG, a lot of RNG sometimes. It just depends on the situation, and it could just be a little frustrating. Just specifically for me as a tanker who is used to 20 wars of point, click, delete. Like, if you were good enough, you could always hit. Like, if
Yeah.
you just knew the system. But about the whole thing about the queues, dude, I just game quality. I think the game just needs a little bit more polish.
A little more
right?
polish.
To where, like a little bit more polish. I wish they would expand their opportunities to make money in safe ways, like more patches, more stuff. You know, just give yourself the ability and the tools so that you can make your game the best that it can be.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's all I got.
So going in with the logic queue, I know Bone specifically, and I've done this myself. I'll abuse that, and I will come in with 100 B mats or a truck full of B mats, drive it up to the front, and I'll leave. I'll leave that truck there. I won't go back to do more logi, and I'll stay in and just tank and tank and tank. And I know that that's really a bad thing, and it's not just Bone that does it. This is like, the thing is,
I'm like
it
on
is.
the fence on if it's a bad thing, because it's like you're bringing logi, you're doing something. Like I get people want to rotate in and out. Like I get that.
And the thing is, I just want to go to the hex and go play and go frontline. I'm not just going in there to waste the time,
Right.
So I wouldn't say you're right. It's not a bad thing, but the problem is, like, you see it time and time again. We're starving for logi. And you see 10 to 15 trucks sitting at a border, and it's like, I want to tank. I'm here. I just wasted your logi queue, and now you're sitting in a 10-man queue. Like, it is harmful at certain times, but at the other times, it's like, if that person's going up there to go actively try to make a difference on that front, or at least actively play there, can you say that's a bad thing?
Well, it's better than sitting in home region and queuing up. Right?
Exactly.
You're at least taking it one more step, right?
For sure.
You're at least
I'm
gonna bring a truck of B-mats instead of just being the person in home region waiting for queue to start.
Oh man, and you can sit there.
Those people are above those people, right? Like,
yeah.
You brought a truck full of B-mats. If you want to go to the front. But yeah, like you're saying, like that's why I'm on the fence about it, because now again you have taken that logi spot too, of like that person that might have rotated in and out. That person that would have gone back and forth and done logi, right?
And I really like the idea though. Maybe kind of space that time out because of partisans. But I really like the idea of a timed effort, because what if you're driving through, get partisaned, and you try to, repair your truck, or you're stranded there.
I think that's part of the game, if you're getting partisan, you're not checking your radio, or you don't have squads like backing you up. 10 to 15 minutes is a long time.
Oh, you're right.
Like general hexes, like you can drive a logi truck across the whole hex usually in about 5 to 7 minutes, if not faster. So 10
I
to
did
15 minutes,
see that video.
Yeah, 10
I did see that one.
Yeah, I got across the whole map in like 35 minutes in a logi
really?
truck. So
wow.
It's not,
and you walked it too, and you walked
I walked it and ran it. I think the walking one was like an hour. I can't remember. It was longer. But you can drive a logi truck across the entire map in like 35 minutes, I think. So each hex is about 5 to 7 minutes. So I think 10 to 15 minutes is pretty generous. Even if you are getting partisan, if you're getting partisan, again, your teammates should be backing you up, right? Like somebody should come get your supplies if you get shot out or whatever.
100%.
I don't know.
Another question.
You can do like 5 to 10 slots, right?
Yeah.
Don't make it a lot.
For sure. Another question I just thought about too is naval logi, bringing in like heavy loads to a frontline seaport, shipping container wise. Would that go under naval queue, or would that go under logi queue?
So yeah, my format for this is like you would get to the queue line, the border line, and it would ask you in a prompt, do you want into the logi queue or do you want into the frontline queue? If you choose the logi queue, then you automatically, when you get to the other side, it gives you this 10 to 15 minute timer that says, okay, after 10 to 15 minutes, you are going to be kicked out.
That's
so you can't go be frontline. I mean, if you want to try and go do that, I guess.
That'd be awesome.
Like, I
actually, the more
an interesting, interesting change, because there is nothing worse than when you need it and can't get it. Like I hate queues just as much as the next guy. Especially it is dangerous, especially late war.
The queues are what's holding Foxhole back like the most, obviously.
100%.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, for sure.
Yeah.
It's holding it back the most.
Now,
said I want to try one where we can just like zerg around. I think
Yeah.
it would be funny because I know they want to like not do that where we can all just pop. But I want to just try it. Let's just go do it real quick and see what it looks like. And
just
I think it
shorten
would
the
be fun.
hexes up a little bit, you know. Let's just do a
Yeah,
test
they-
war and see
Yeah,
how
they
bad
should
it
do more
is.
test stuff like that. Yeah, see
Mhm.
how bad it is. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Well,
I have noticed, like, especially in this last war, the charges that I've seen into big major hexes, that those pushes only die as soon as that Q hits, and we can't get
Yeah,
Logi
yeah.
in. As soon as that happens, it's just a big deflation, and then it's all on the back foot until you can reamass, you know?
Mm-hmm.
so another thing, talking about, you know, Qs and whatnot, the invasion bonus with tapping and whatnot like that. That is, in my opinion, I'm starting to see a mass problem on both sides where you'll have, and you can't adjust for ults or anything, but there might just be the new player that doesn't understand and go try to tap a town base and kill a invasion bonus push. I would like a tutorial to explain these things, but not even just that. I want a way to fix like zooing and doing invasion boat, because that's not very. I wouldn't
My
say.
immersion.
Yeah,
Immersion.
you know exactly. It's not realistic to
Dude,
keep a
The
zoo.
zoos are so... The whole system is so
And
stupid.
it comes down to hexes, right? It comes down to
Right.
hexes, and we know that it's because hexes are not killing, but they're very bad at holding the game back at what it could be. But at the other half, do we have a better solution to stop that? And something I've been thinking about is the less. I guess what I'd be saying is the less you own in a hex. So a big thing that always happens is in King's Cage, you'll see 2 bridge battles, right? And we, as Bone, took over as King's Cage, and we had 10 people in the hex, right? We had 10 people there, and we would have an 8-man queue. And I don't think it's fair for them to hold so little and to just be able to choke point a bridge. So the more you hold in a hex, like the more VPs you hold in a hex, maybe the VPs would add as how many more players you can get in the hex, if that makes sense. So like let's say in King's Cage, you own everything to the Manacle, and they only own Den of Knaves and the Bailey. We would get, like, for each one of those, maybe +5 players that we could get in the region, because we have to hold so much more ground and defend so much more ground. It really...
But the other faction would also get that.
They would get it, yeah. So they would get 5 each for each one. It would be
Saying,
more
like,
of a
you
bonus.
added on,
Exactly.
So you don't have to wait in those queues. That
Exactly.
makes sense.
And
That
when
would
you
certainly
hold,
be interesting.
when you hold more, you should get a benefit for holding more. You shouldn't get hindered.
Right.
You know what I mean? And these bridges really
Side note,
hinder.
King's Cage is like the worst hex in the entire
Exactly.
game. Like,
It
Exactly.
sucks.
You
I
know,
King's
but
Cage.
that's just the example you could
yeah,
give.
yeah,
you know,
No, I get you. I get
And-
East West War is going to be interesting if we get that far.
yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Um,
That
Because you
idea.
never really get it from that side.
I think it would give an incentive to hold more area, and to really start. You know, you should get an advantage for holding more ground in a hex to start. You know what I mean? And the more people you have in there, that opens up the warden queue as well, right? So if we have a lot of people in that hex, that opens up that fight to be electric, not 5 people just getting to hold a hex and being
Right.
ruining that immersion, you know. And you know, I don't know how many. I don't know if it differs per hex. I've never actually looked at this, but is it the same amount of VPs per hex?
Sorry.
The same amount of VPs per hex, like, do you mean?
You mean
So
like, the
town halls,
territories,
relics?
the territories, like the little areas.
Yeah, so like that's something, you know, I would have to, before I fully stated that, how many town halls are in like Lina Mercy? So that would be 1, 2, 3, 4,
I've never
5,
looked at
6,
It looks like it's all divided almost up the same.
11. So there's 11 in I'm just gonna do Deadlands and Lynn. 2, 3, 4.
Foxhole HQ is really good for looking at it.
It's 11.
Have it.
At least in Deadlands and in Lynn, it's the exact same amount of relics and town halls. It'd be 11 per. So, excuse me, let's say the warden held, 5 and the collies held 6. You would get X amount players per, like, town hall and relic added on into that.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And that would break the stalemate a little more,
Those types of ideas are just like, they're always worth trying. I feel like,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? Like
100%.
It's just like, just try it. If it sucks for a war, if it sucks for a little bit, just take it back. Just don't
Exactly.
do it anymore, right?
Um,
Yeah, it would certainly be good to see them do like a lot more trial and error, but at the same time, I don't want them to compromise like the consistency of the game,
Sure.
like to where people might get like frustrated, like, oh, things are different this war than next war. I'm not gonna play this war, etc. Like maybe like a huge fraction of them might be turned off by a certain idea or something like that.
Yeah, but we have that happen.
It's always possible.
We have that happen by the players themselves. It's like we had the
yeah.
Great Silo War like 2 wars ago where we just
Oh,
silos
man.
modifications.
Oh,
So,
man.
Junction. I was one of the first ones to see it. I pulled right up in a silver hand and just, what the fuck is this?
Oh,
and now
yeah.
This one we have the Great Zoo War where we just
This-
hold on to one. We let them hold on to one territory so they can't get invasion bonuses and things
It's-
like that. It's like we find some new little meta piece to kind of exploit's a hard word, but like just take advantage of.
Oh, yeah.
And we just like really hinge on that, right?
Mhm.
We really.
Right.
Hammer down.
I hate bobbers.
And
You're gonna
Bobbers
see
need to
next war
stop.
too. It's gonna happen
Please,
next war until
spare
devs
me.
like implement
Oh,
something.
please.
They're gonna keep doing the zoo thing or keep doing the thing where you just keep one territory on one side so you can't do, the border base invasion thing. So.
Yeah, as long as it's meta, it's not gonna change.
Yeah.
And until something's done about it, it's just gonna happen.
yeah,
In a war with the different, since it's not directly north and south, it'll be a little different maybe.
I do find it really weird with these east-west wars with the naval hexes kind of being a 50-50 split on both sides. Like the fingers being held by the collies, like right off the rip. It's definitely it's gonna be very odd, and those guys,
Free State of the Fingers Part 2, man.
you know what I'm saying, dude? They're gonna be holding
They
it
just
down,
come out of retirement, bro.
dude. Oh,
That'd be cool.
That'd be cool.
I like it.
Ooh.
I like that they did that and they didn't just like give it to one side or anything. The only thing that makes it not cool or like not as interesting is if like on day 1 or day 2 they just switch. The colonials take their side, the wardens take their
Yeah.
side, and it's like okay, it's like that never was a thing,
yeah.
It's like it never happened.
which could be a thing too. Cause,
Free
all
State
the
of
bars
Silver.
rush as an island. They rush those island. I've never been a part of those. I'm usually at work when war starts, but like people do those barge rushes like right away to those
Oh, yeah.
islands. It's kind of crazy.
Dude,
Yeah,
you guys
go
remember
crazy in
Silver?
these hexes, man.
You guys
Yep,
remember
Silver.
Silver? For the pile, dude, I'm telling you, with these new medical bunkers and stuff, bro, Fingers is gonna be for the pile part 2, baby.
Cool.
It's gonna be wild. They're gonna have to be
They had the
self-sufficient.
oil cult last time. Like last war. You heard
Yep.
the oil cult and what was going on.
Oh yeah.
God, the oil cult. I sat through that whole video too. I sat through the whole fucking thing.
That's awesome.
Those guys are wild, bro. To like, and the fact that they commit to the bit is just that much more hilarious. Like it's so hyperbole.
Oh yeah.
It's wild.
So I do like what I feel like most things we talked about here was Q stuff like that, logic cues. But going on to what Finch was saying, and me being a tanker, we tanked a lot last war, Finch.
Oh yeah.
I'm a
Yeah,
very
dude.
experienced tanker, man. I've been playing this game since War 84, and there's times where I'm like, oh my god, how are we missing those shots? And then I got into a gunner seat, and I'm missing point blank sometimes because of the suppression thing, and it's like, I think they just need to tone it. I actually do like how infantry has an effect on tanks' accuracy. It's okay, but I feel like there does need to be a little bit of toning down because, dude, I missed 2 point blanks with a Bardiche, and I mean, my crosshair was dialed on the side, and I just shot over his head. And it's like, I don't know where that's really marked up is like realistic or good for immersion or even for the game's health, because you should get punished if you're getting point blank to the side. And, you know, I don't have an answer for it though, man. I other than toning.
I'll say this. As much as I loved being able to point click delete people, right? Something had to be done about the aiming system. Just tanks 40 mil just dominated late war.
Oh yeah.
And we actually like there is things that you can do with this new aiming system to improve your chances of having similar results, but just overall it is definitely inconsistent. But it is, you just can't hit all those shots. The infantry needed to be given a chance. If you do take more time with your shots, if you're able to anticipate a lot more, if you aim at their feet, always aim at the feet, bro. Never aim. Always 100%. Aim at the feet. Like, try your best to, like, get it to where you have that one spot. You have to be ready to shoot there, and you have to anticipate it. You can improve your chances of doing it, especially with 68 mil. Like, even though the radius is much smaller. But I understand people's frustrations about it. Dude, like, in this last war, I wasn't oh yeah, that's exactly where I was aiming. And we're point blank to a bunker base and I can't hit it.
Yeah.
Because my gun is pointing in the fucking sky. Anyways, yeah, like it can be frustrating.
I would like to see.
I know Robert's only spent 70 hours in a gunner seat.
Less. I have about 1,700 hours in the game, and I've been in a tank maybe 30 to 40 hours of that 1,700.
Shout out to Oil in that video, bro. They went wild in that battle tank. We never. I don't think we ended up killing them, dude.
Yeah, I think they pulled out a couple times, and they did a good job keeping it alive. It was fun. It was a lot of fun.
So this is kind of going back to Logi, and I have another question for you guys. And I'm kind of curious what you guys think, because this is going to lead into stuff later on. Because obviously, spoiler alert, guys, we're going to talk about air eventually. You know, I want to ask these guys what they think about air. But the weather. So they talked about the weather system being a lot.
In this game?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
Where's the ice?
You know.
Why aren't I crossing fjords on ice, bro? What happened?
And so one thing that Bone struggled with, you know, from this war and last war, I had a regiment member, like one of our top guys, quit because of the mud. And because, dude, it's like, and I know why. He was on a partisan run and he had hydras and he was in a Jeep and he got so muddy he went up a barely little incline and he couldn't go up it in a brand new Jeep, fully fueled, and he doesn't have a water bucket. And there's no, you know, the mud, man, it's brutal. But we're not getting that heavy. I want like a heavy tropical rainstorm, you know, like filling up those trenches with like legit where you're walking in them in the slow trudge. Like I would love that. I would love the deep snow. We're not getting the weather, you know, that, you know, they kind of didn't promise us, but said that they were kind of going to be implementing. And I feel like we're just getting little rainstorms, little snow, and that's it. And there's like no reason for the weather station at this point. Now, obviously looking forward, that's going to be a big impact with air, you know, with the wind movement being pretty crazy, because, you know, with Artie and stuff, the higher the storm, the more the Artie gets impacted, the range and all that stuff with the wind. I feel like that's going to be a big impact there. But I would like to see weather be more of an effect on a battlefield, right? Because right now it's really more annoying. And like there were times, you know, World War II, you're talking, there was Air Force that literally could not fly because the wind or, you know, the snow was so heavy, the rain.
Tier 10 snowstorm.
You know what I mean? Like, where is that? Where is that, you know, heavy weather system, you know? And I just want to know what you guys think upon that, and kind of what you would like to see from the weather, you know? And what do you guys think the repercussions, you know, from mud and snow, how bad does that impact players, and how could it be worse and or better? You know, I know like a lot of guys aren't going to like this, but the heavier the rain, how much more, you know, could there be eventually a bridge? You know, this is going to be crazy, but eventually a bridge flooded over.
Tiers of mud.
You know,
tier 3 mud.
What about a flash flood though, dude? Like you can't, you know.
A flash flood.
Well, what about a? I mean, you know what I mean? Like that's kind of deep in, but you know what I'm saying? Like, but that would be cool for an event, bro. Like a flash flood, a bridge gets knocked out of the game forever.
A polar vortex just freezes you in place.
That'd be wild, but
Tornadoes, battlefield.
I do want to know what you guys think could be implemented to the weather system. You know, what you guys think of it right now. Do you guys think it's in a good spot? Do you want to see improvement? What do you guys think about it?
So I think Siege Camp with their weather station, and when they did the whole reveal of like having lakes and rivers like ice over, I feel like they like oversold it a little bit. Like maybe they thought it worked better than it did, but I think they haven't like announced this. This is just theory and tinfoil hat stuff, but I think they found out that it doesn't work in their system very well, and that's why we haven't like seen a lot of it, you know, because we all know that weather stations are basically LARPing and useless, right? And we haven't seen, like heard a word from them.
It's raining.
Yeah.
But we haven't like heard a word. Like, you know, they know that like we don't use that, it's useless. Like, so I'm considering it like, I think they oversold it, or they thought that it was going to work in some intended way, and then it didn't. And now they've kind of pulled it back secretly behind their code wall or whatever. And I feel like they're probably doing a lot of redos, and like, I consider it like, this is phase one. It's like they introduced the buildings before the buildings could work, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, and now they'll add, or they'll get rid of them, but I don't think they'll get rid of them. I think they'll just add and fine tune what they need to do with it. In an ideal situation, like moving into the future, what they could do, and this is what they're already doing for Anvil Empires, and they're already bringing Anvil Empire stuff over with clubs and daggers.
Yeah.
But in Anvil, they have seasons. They have actual seasons. So, you know, we already have dates in the game of like what month it is and what year. It's like all you have to do is go, okay, in the winter months, it snows more. In the summer months, it rains more. You know what I'm saying? That's what I would love to see with the winter or the weather system, that it actually goes by a season. And then you know, you don't even need almost a weather station sometimes, but you know when like, oh, snow's going to be coming up here in the next, you know, however many days or whatever.
No,
The fact that you can't predict what the weather's going to be like with the weather stations is just preposterous, bro.
Yeah,
I should be able to know
like,
what it's going to be like.
And
like
you know
maybe
they
like
know
a day
that,
or
right? Like, you know, when they know stuff like that we don't use and don't work, it's going to be the same thing with that ambulance train car. It's like, this is just like a LARP item right now, but later on, it's going to be like really good.
You know,
I'm hoping so, man. Yeah, that'd be really good.
Yeah, I think that's quite true about a lot of items in game, that they're kind of, I feel like they're working big picture, and they're just slowly implementing things for us to like test and, you know, figure out. Or maybe like you said that, you know, they thought it was going to work, and then when it came to game time, you know, it just fumbled and shattered. And
maybe.
And you know,
I'll say this, man. Like, rest in peace to your guy who quit because of the mud. Like,
bro,
like, that's
dude.
That's so
he just probably
heartbreaking.
needed a break for other reasons.
Oh yeah, no. You know, he came back. He came back. He did.
In terms of the mud, like, I don't think that it should be doing as much as it does if it's not, like, I think that there should be, like, severity, and the severity should, like, I mean, who knows? Like, maybe, like, a heavily fought-over battlefield can turn into Tier 3 mud because the tanks are going back and forth and this and that. Obviously, that'd be, like, an engine limitation, possibly. But just, I don't think that mud should be, like, just as ridiculous, especially as it was back when, like before they made the changes. You were always muddy all the time, always, when like if it was raining. But this, in terms of the snowstorms, bro, like, it is hard to, like, it's almost impossible to see in snowstorms, like if you're a tanker. One thing I would like to see, and this might be like a little bit off, but you know how the tanks have those lights on, like they have one light on the turret and they have one light on the body? I think that those should be like directional lights, so that you could see just a little bit further, just a little bit, if you're at least looking that way. Like that, I think those should have a purpose. And I guess for a snowstorm, you should be able to detect, you know, because there's less detection range with snowstorms. But just weather's rough right now, man. Weather's pretty rough.
just don't like the way it's implemented right now. Like the fact that snow can like just outright kill you, and it's just really annoying if you're not paying attention. But to be honest, I really hate being in the rainier parts because your trucks are slower. You're not as efficient. You can't get in your vehicles sometimes with your full kit because you're over encumbered. Your vehicles like that, you can't even store your vehicles when they're muddy. So you have to put water buckets in the storage depots just to wash your truck off to put it in the storage depot. Like, dude, the mud'll dry, bro. Just park it in damn, storage depot and call it a day.
I spent 10 minutes bucketing onto a bar.
Exactly.
Just trying to get it undirty, man.
You got
like,
those new rules for the car washes now, which is great. They just sit
more LARPing, nah.
Yeah, I'm all for the LARPing.
I'm cool for the LARP, but the only thing that drives me nuts, I think it's really good to have a car wash for like the vehicle speed and stuff, but dude, Gibbets Field, driving through there, and it's always on the roads too, the mud puddles. I don't know if you guys have realized that there are some mud puddles, but they're almost always on the roads. Where it's most annoying.
They must have like some code that it happens more.
Exactly.
Like, only happen on the roads, bro.
And it just drove me nuts because like it would be at the end of the night. I'm putting the vehicles up, our QRF Vics, and then oh my god, I got to go to the town hall, get a bucket, choop.
And not being able to build because of a puddle that you can't see.
Oh, and it's client side. That's ridiculous.
That's so frustrating.
Or when you can see the puddle and you get the animation and it doesn't actually dig up the puddle. I don't know if you guys have had that either, but that's happened to me like 4 or 5 times.
Dig up puzzles. I tried it once and it was like the slowest percentage, and I'm like, I'm not doing this.
It's ridiculous,
I feel like it's the
man.
biggest issue early war when there's no gains.
Oh yeah.
And it just happens to be raining like that. Like I guess that.
I like the dynamic of it. I like the idea of it. It just needs to be refined.
I agree.
Refined,
I agree.
Polished.
Polished.
Please take my money, bro.
Get more demure.
Another weather update.
You know.
Let's do another weather update.
Yeah. So I don't want to. We're getting close to time, so I gotta be quick. We got.
How much time you got, Robert?
We got 30 minutes.
So this is gonna be a big.
What about planes? Dude?
Well, this is where we're going, bro. Because I want to get. This is the big one. I wanna pick your brain on this. What do you guys want to see out of Air update? What do you want to see day one that is polished, refined, unlike the Navy where we are kind of 50-50? Colley's got a destroyer, Warden's got a sub. The sub was meh. Like, what do you guys want to see, both factions, day one? What do you guys want to see out of that?
Finch, I'll let you go. You seem the most excited.
Here we go.
Well, I think it's going to be pretty much exactly as they rolled out Navy. First things first, I don't think it's going to be polished. I think there's going to be a ton of trial and error with this. But I think that the Warden's going to get the fighter. We're going to get the bomber. It's going to be asymmetrical, and then maybe a patch down the line, a couple months, and then they're going to add the counterparts in. One thing I really want to see, like, I don't know if they're going to have it in the game, but, like, the logistic supply lines that you could drop, like, you drop, crates or whatever, and then you just get these partisan bases that just sprout out of nowhere, and it just grows like an infection, and you just constantly supply it by air. It's just great. Like, that'd be nuts, dude.
That would be cool. I pretty much want like cargo drops because I'm a big logi person.
Oh yeah.
I want some logistical side to it that I can just do a bunch of
put a
plane.
parachute on a tankette, man.
Hold on. So I got some heaters for you boys. Bone's been talking. Have you guys ever played Hell Let Loose? Oh.
No,
you guys ever played Hell Let Loose?
Video.
So there is a thing the commander can do in Hell Let Loose that allows you to drop a air beacon. And what that is essentially a small package that drops on the ground that the whole team can spawn off of.
Yeah,
and
airhead,
an airhead, that's what it is. That's what it is.
Airhead.
I would like for them to be able to drop an airhead with a very limited supply source of shirts and just a spawn point.
Like a white whale.
Nah, white whales, that would be ridiculous to drop in the back of Nevish line, dog. Like, pump the
like
brakes.
more small squad stuff.
And because let's be honest, there's going to be a lot of AI that they give for planes, and you're going to have AA coverage in areas, but there's going to be those guys that figure out the air routes that are going to drop back lines. And, I hope they cause havoc. I really hope that they get punished if you do get troops behind lines. But the thing is, I don't want it to be like a partisan run where you drive back there and when you die, you're done. I want it to be kind of like exactly, and that's just not fun, and it's probably going to be really costly to build these things, I assume. I want them to drop like an airhead.
Invasion.
Exactly, just a little invasion point, and it's very low health, kind of like drop a tent, like the little tent back behind enemy lines. Just kind of drop one of those. Exactly, and if a tank pulls up on you and you're not ready with your AT bazooka squads, like, you're cooked. GG, adios. I would really like to see a little airhead, or something small that you could drop back there to get it started. And then you have the BMAT drop, where you get the container and it's like a loot box and you get 600 BMATs, and you have to be able to airdrop a CV, because if you can't do that, what are you going to build? And so these things got to be added if you want an infectious disease to keep spreading and actually build something that they can actually put AI into, and it's going to be very costly. Like, I'm telling you, there's not going to be any way you're going to be able to hold something like that for a long duration. The more annoying it gets, the more it should get focused. But I do think if you let that grow to be a problem and they get AI up and they get a lot of logi back there, I think that they should be able to hold their own, be real airborne infantry,
just be constantly supplied by air.
Exactly. And, the thing is, though, I would hope that there's anti-air, vehicles that can actually be manned, that, if you obviously see a plane coming to and fro the same path, I hope that we can go and put a anti-air, because if they can just do it for free, if we don't have a bunker nearby, I would hope to shout that they could let us put something down, even if it's an emplacement that allows us to stop their supply route too, cut their logi, make it, or the other thing that we were talking about earlier, weather. What if weather has an effect on your logi route with air? What if you can't fly that, And this is where I think weather can be huge. You look at, I just watched Band of Brothers, so, obviously nerding out and stuff. But you look at the battle, Bastogne, and when they were overlooking Foy, and they couldn't get supplies in. They're surrounded.
What's that, brother?
You got to hold out, boys. There's 3 mags of 7.62. There's about 40, wardens over that hill, brother. You better count your shots, And then the next day, the air clears, and that would be really cool. But more than likely, what's going to happen?
I don't think that you shouldn't be allowed to fly in it. I think you should have if you really want to, you can go fly into that. But I think it should be unbelievably dangerous, and you should probably crash.
I think that
can't see anything.
Hit a tree, bro. You can't see your altitude. Just dive it.
I'll say this about the supply aspect. I think that we should be given the ability, if we're willing to put in the effort, to be able to supply it by air, and if we can succeed in being able to do that strategy, I think that the ability should be there.
Yeah, I agree. I totally agree. And I think that would be really cool ways to stop bridge battles. I think that would be immense ways to stop bridge battles. Air supply. Imagine you try to zoo when I can go drop 50 paratroopers down and, 50 sacks of logi, and I can hold that place now with a lot of dudes, and they set their spawn in that town hall. Imagine if they tried to zoo when you could supply that via air. Now you start looking at, do we want to zoo that, or do we want to get border bases up ASAP? Do we want that? And I still don't see the vision. But what do we see?
Well, what do you think, Robert?
I have been talking a lot, but
it's hard for me to wrap my head around, honestly. The way it looks, the way it feels. feels. Like, am I gonna fly across a hex in like 20 seconds, essentially? You know, because planes fly really fast and you're way up high. Am I gonna be like hovering at a queue with other planes waiting to go across?
That's my thought. The queues.
You know, somebody else was talking to me about it, and they think it's gonna be like a whole new like instance. You know what I'm saying? Like it's like its own level.
Its
of,
own
like,
level.
playing field, because then that would make sense for like dogfights and things like that. Because especially if you need the space, like I just kept imagining, like, are you gonna have a dogfight with somebody in the hex? Because it's like again, you could probably fly, depending on how big or small these planes are, you're gonna be able to fly a plane across the hex in like 5 seconds. You know, like how much maneuvering room do you really have? So,
Well, and
how is dogfighting even gonna work? It's just
Exactly.
like you're always just turning like left and right.
that's not even what gets me.
There's no up or down.
it's
What
like that
gets
old Xbox game, like that red one, that first plane one that came out for it. Gosh, what was that called?
I know which one you're talking about.
Yeah,
I can't wait.
they're firing through their old purpose planes. You know,
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
All right.
Blimps and things like that in that game too.
Blimps would be sick too, bro, because we're right in that era of World War I, II, kind of. Dude, can you imagine a
airships.
war blimp, bro? You know,
they should be made obsolete by like late war, dude. Oh man.
So
And it's like that Battlefield trailer, that map where it crashes down and
Yeah,
like, destroys
dude.
the whole area and like changes everything.
that'd be sick.
You can run on it and like gun people down.
Oh man. And when the
don't know, I'm very
helium
skeptical.
explosion, the helium
Yeah.
explosion too, man. Ooh.
Yeah, that'd
I'm-
be sick.
I'm very skeptical. I'm kind of like Finch in the sense that like it's gonna be like Navy was at the beginning. Like no one's gonna know how to use it. It's gonna be all probably late game. There's gonna be some stupid material that we have to fight over to build it. And
Oh, the
It's gonna be
Civil
flying
Wars.
materials or FMATs.
F mats. Oh, that'd be
FMATs.
pretty good.
F the F mats, dude.
F mats.
Little side note, I know we didn't bring this up, but I think that builders need some love. Just late
Oh.
I think that late game building, I think
Bro.
we need like tier 3, like battle tank dozers. Like you should be able to convert a battle tank to a dozer and be able to just put shit up, bro. It's super
So,
risky.
what do you guys think
yeah.
about this? So, one thing that absolutely drives a lot of builders nuts is digging. And shovels are your only way to dig from tier 1 till the last day of the war is a shovel. You go from a rope to immediate, you know what I mean? I really would love to see an ACV vehicle be an excavator. That way you can
absolutely.
dig.
Sky's the limit for the potential
You know,
for building, bro.
Hey, how about those trees, boys? You know, chop down a tree or two, you know.
Oh,
Hey,
jeez.
I've
hey.
told people this before. The minute you give somebody an axe to chop down a tree, the next day, guess what? All the trees in the game are gone.
Oh, thank God, dude. I go to Umbra
All
Wildwood,
gone.
dude.
Lorax
We're
is pissed.
Oh,
Okay,
yeah.
the trees are gone.
Well, like as trees,
That's
get
awesome.
like misted in like real life, there should be like a tree like graveyard. Like they're
Well-
not fully
If you
gone.
give
They
us an
become like a
axe,
part of like the landscape.
There's an
Yeah,
axe
dude.
item. All the trees in the game are gone the next day. They're gone.
Imagine Umbra Wildwood, dude, and all the trees that are there.
I like
Imagine.
that. That's like the only hex that's like that. I
Oh
don't-
yeah.
Umbral
Well,
Wild Woodless.
dude, it would. You would have some crazy group every war just
One person
lumberjack.
would become
Boom.
John Bundy or
person
whatever
would
his
do
name
it. Oh,
is, and
dude.
go around and chop down every tree.
Yeah, Matrix,
Cost
you're not
more
getting the
mats for the
chainsaw,
axes.
dude. Yeah, dude, they should cost steel mats.
Single-use axes, bro.
A
Cost
steel
real
mat.
mats.
'Cause then
I
if
don't
you gave
know.
Players the ability to plant trees again, then they'd be everywhere too. They'd be in the spaces you would hate the most, right? So
Mhm.
it's like you can't have one or the other, you know.
You know,
So
one thing though that I could definitely see to kind of mitigate both sides of that is maybe make digging a tree up or whatever maybe make it cost like an exuberant amount, but like a builder would pay for that though, dude.
then you're wasting resources. I don't know.
But that's the thing, sometimes
I
the
just
one
think that trees
difference,
suck, bro.
dude,
Trees suck.
the one difference
I'll
in a
tell you
build
what.
can be the difference in a tree.
Okay, so hear me out. I think that we should be able to run over trees. I think they should be able to block, but I think they should just regrow. Like in the same way, if you guys remember like Command and Conquer,
Right,
you would run over all the trees, and then they would just over time they would come back.
That makes more sense to me. Like, yeah, you can blow through
You could
them
do
right
that.
now, but then like after half a day or a day, it's now.
However long it is.
Yeah. That makes more sense.
I think that they should be able to, like, pop up. Plus, it would add some variation to like the woods. They're not always the same woods.
Yeah.
And I think you
stay
should
in the
be
same
able to.
like spots that they're in. You know what I'm saying? Like they shouldn't pop up probably randomly.
I think that there should be like in those zones maybe.
In those
like
specific
a
zones.
grid. It has to
like,
be
like
within
a forestry
set
area.
grid.
The sky's the limit. They could do anything with it, man.
That makes sense. That makes more
See,
sense.
There's a guy in chat talking about red lines. He's talking about if you could lift a tree with a crane and move it. Exactly what Robert said, though, dude. You would place it in the spot that exactly helps the defender, and it'd be the most annoying place. You'd place it right next to the bunker or border base. If you're telling me, I would move every tree right next to that border base, and they would never get a chance to build because I would have arty on it, and I would just no, dude. Like
it'd be like the new silos.
it'd be worse.
Fuel silos.
It'd be worse.
To maneuver.
Yeah.
Or
it'd be an absolute.
Or alts would like move trees like in the spots too to like mess with you. Like I don't know.
In my first podcast, Veer had an actually excellent idea, and I think you guys both hit on it there too. I think I should be able to build a whatever I want where that tree is. Like make them to where you can put the ropes down and build what you want. It might block a certain area of your AI, but that tree is still going to be there through your build. Like that tree stays regardless.
People built bunkers or houses through trees in World War I or anything like that.
Well, to be fair, though, I could chop it down in World War II, though, and it wouldn't be a big deal. You know what I mean?
Fair, my immersion.
We
yeah.
turn it into the bunker.
Yeah, I would just slap it.
House. We call it the tree bunker.
Yeah, dude. Welcome to the tree yard, brothers.
Something's got to. Okay. Bottom line is something's got to get done about trees.
It just hurts builders so bad.
That's on the bottom list of my priority.
Just do something down the line in like a micro patch or whatever.
Man, you are right though, dude. Builders, you see these massive metas get absolutely demolished, and that's sometimes if you're in enemy territory, that's 8 days worth of tech if you're doing like a storm cannon base. And the fact that because you couldn't put AI where you wanted it because there's a tree in your way, and I get to now roll a chieftain or a ballista up right where you would have that AI, and I know you would, and I get to hit you from that weird angle because you can't defend the way you want. And there's so many instances where it's like people would build better and more smart if they had the availability to if that tree wasn't there. And it's so bad because at the same time you guys bring up valid points. Is it worthwhile to let us chop trees down and deforest the map and make it nasty and not fun and not foxhole the way we know it? But at the same time, are we hurting builders and really killing off the people who want to build and have these nice buildings and nice structures that would be able to hold if those trees weren't there? It's a really hard balance, though, Like, it's...
I think that tree should die, but they can come back.
Yeah. I feel like the conflicting groups, right, is we have the builders that we want kind of an easier time near the end, especially like excavators or cement mixers to kind of build up stuff. Because I want it because I don't want that snowball effect as much, right? Like, once you take out, like, a good concrete mega base, it's really hard to build that back up, and then the game just kind of snowballs a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
I would like something kind of in between where we do have a chance to kind of build something back up, but then you have the other conflicting group of, like, I don't want to PvE all day, right? I don't want to just sit here and aim my tank at AI tanks, So you have these two conflicting groups of, like, I want better building. I don't want to PvE all night just to get through a bunker base, right? So it's like...
That's a valid point. That's a very valid point.
I think that it should share, like if they do have those higher tier vehicles where you can do that kind of, like, those kind of things, I think that there should be, like, the same, like, risk aspect of where it's probably, like, a lot slower. It could probably cost a ton more.
It should be, an efficiency thing, though, right at the end of the day.
Right.
Me using the cement mixer should make this faster, so I don't have to carry my cement bags, from one spot to another. I liked that train trick that one group did. I gotta clip of it where they had the small engine train in front of their bunker
They
base.
just clicked on all of them.
Oh
That
my
was
God.
sick.
That's what we need for like a cement mixer, though, right? Like, or cement truck. Like, it should be able to. And I'm saying late tier, right?
Yeah,
Like, if we make it to
100%.
Late
day
tier.
20, day 20 or day 25, you know.
Oh,
'Cause, like,
100%.
the other night, I was in Howell County trying to rebuild the defenses back, you know, before we lost, and it was me and like 3 other guys, you know. But if you had like an excavator there, that it just has to build like 2 to 3 times faster than a normal shovel, right? It doesn't have to be I do 1 scoop and I got a whole, you know, piece ready, but it just has to be like a little faster.
It's kind of like the
right?
ACV. The ACV is a godsend. Like I don't know how much you guys build, you know, but the ACV is an absolute builder's godsend. Like when those come out, they're amazing. And you're so right where it comes to like I don't want bases to become so strong where it's like it's an unending just sludge of PVE
You need,
over
like,
and
10
over and over.
RSCs to get through.
That
Yeah,
you
no
don't
one
want
wants
that.
that.
No one wants
You want
that.
some engagement, right? You want
Exactly.
some engagement, like. Yeah.
I think that's a very fine balance that the devs have to play with, but I think
It sounds hard.
It does. And the more we talk about it here, the more I kind of side with like I don't want to go through 10 years of concrete to win the war either, you know.
No, we don't want that.
But I'm a builder
Yeah,
too,
definitely not.
and
We killed so much concrete last war. It was like every time it was just my god, more PVE. But it was always like a puzzle that you had to solve, you know. And
That's the
we
fun part,
and as you
too.
can see, we did.
See, that's
Yeah.
the thing too about like not doing the tree thing is like you can like look around the base and like where is the weakness of this base, right? You know, and that it's unfortunately by some environmental, you know, hazard that there is a weakness here. But you found it. It's a puzzle, right? You didn't just slam your head against a wall for, you know, do 10 ballista rushes or 10 chieftain rushes. You found this one weakness and you're like, we're gonna blast into here, and then our infantry and everybody else is just we're gonna skip everything else.
yeah. Well,
I like
and
that aspect about it.
I to be honest, one of the funniest things that drives me nuts as a collie, just flank bro. Like I absolutely like, it's the funniest thing and it puts a smile on my face. But to be honest, a lot of the times that's what kills concrete, and getting that flank and the cheeky crack on the side that they couldn't stop. You're right. The environment does give us chances to make plays, and that's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Obtain the advantage by,
you know,
by being where they're not.
Exactly.
Foxhole just kind of makes it hard to coordinate flanks, though, right? Like once our force has chosen where we want to attack, like you're now trying to coordinate like 40 to 60 other people to be like, hey, we actually need to attack from over here. It's going to be a lot better, but because it's like now our bunker base is further away of like spawns, you know, because a lot of like casual players or normal players spawn at a bunker, they see everyone running down this road or towards this line, it's like that's where I'm going, that's what I'm going to go do, you know. So I've tried to coordinate like on battlefields, like, hey, we need to go over this way, and it's like you get maybe 3 or 4 people to join you, but like getting like a majority of your force to come like rotate with you is like,
that's tough.
It's difficult. It's tough. It's really tough.
Very tough. Yeah,
it's not impossible, but it's definitely difficult.
Yeah, you got to put a lot of work into it.
Takes a lot of leadership. Come with me.exe, bro.
You gotta, I need to be an FM before that can happen, I think. So.
Yeah.
Especially when we were tanking, I think it was 2 wars ago by now. Right, we always had the randoms coming with us. We just had to convince them, and man, we made some real plays in Westgate up until the end there, man.
Yeah,
it's wild.
And you always have to like debate with people for some reason because no one ever wants to jump on your idea because somebody else has another idea, and it's like I don't have time to debate you. Like we need to go do this now or not do it.
Yeah.
Only the strongest will survive.
Yeah, dude. I mean, it's tough though, dude. No matter which way you go about a battlefield or the topics we even talk about right here, you know, the devs, I hope, are having these conversations too, right? Like, I assume they do. They're very dedicated, and I think they do care about the community more than people give them credit. And they do care.
I mean, all these free updates that we get with not paying anything extra for the game and stuff like that.
You're not even lying. You're not even lying. It's so true.
Right. We're way too hard on them.
Give us more merch, bro. Let me fund you right now.
Well, and to be honest,
clicked on that link for the patches, and they were gone as second I clicked on.
I literally same here. Same here. I was sad, dude. I couldn't get my patch because I bought a hat. I bought a blank hat, and I was gonna put the patch on the hat. Like I got the collie flag back there, and like I was gonna have the collie hat, and I like every day I was streaming Foxhole. I hope so, dude. I hope so. But just to finish up, I got you for another like 6 minutes. So you about gotta go.
Sure. We can do like one more question or one more thought.
Yeah, just if there's anything you want. If you've had an idea that's been gnawing at you, I know what you kind of said earlier, but if you have anything you wanted to say to the devs, if they ever watch this video, I'm not joking, man. I hope one day I can get a dev in this thing and talk to one. It's a long shot, but
I've never talked to a dev before.
And exactly, and you're one of the biggest in the game, right? And eventually that is my goal for this podcast is to get a dev in here and talk to one. And it'll probably have to be very scripted kind of thing. But what would you like to say to the devs? If you could sign off here, what would you like to talk or say to the dev right now?
I don't know. I'll probably repeat what I said just a second ago, but I think they've made a really great game. I think it needs some polish in some areas. Ever since I found Foxhole, nothing scratches this itch that Foxhole scratches. Like, no other game scratches it. Like, I feel useless playing single-player games most of the time. Cause I'm like, I could be in a Logi truck right now, like, supplying the front or doing this and that. And
True, Chad.
I don't know. Chad. Nothing, like, scratches that itch. And I think they have a really unique game that no one else has, like, done before. And I don't know. I don't know. Have any other feed? Maybe just communicate with us more. That's all. All of us said that. And
communication would be good.
Just a little bit more communication. You can be like a paragraph or something. They did something like a month or two ago, and everyone was like, "Yes, do this every time. Just do this short blurb, and you'll make us so happy." So yeah, just
my whole chat.
I like their community things that they started doing. Like every month, they have like a community highlight. That's really cool. Yeah, just communicate with what's going on, and that's it. That's what I would.
I'll tell you what.
Just like a monthly update.
This game does not this experience that we get with this game does not exist anywhere else.
No.
Where it is this many players, this many servers, this big a map, this kind of scale, that it is nowhere. And the fact that they've accomplished this is so unbelievably commendable. Mm-hmm. But they just got to keep going. Like, do not give up on this game, man. It has so much potential. So many people can play this game, and just the possibilities are endless. And I'm really excited. I really hope that they do a great job.
A lot of people.
They've already done a great job, but
Yeah.
Well, a lot of people want to keep. I think a lot of us want to see it even do better because we are kind of getting a glimpse of what they've made and what we know it could be. I think, to be honest, and I've said this, and it sounds pretty cheesy, I think what you guys said is true. There's not another game that hits this.
Does not exist.
It doesn't exist.
This kind of experience.
I think
this
it could be.
This is as real to Warfare as it gets.
It puts you in a cog, dude. And I said this, and I said that I think this could be one of the best MMOs ever to touch gaming. In all honesty, I don't think there's another game where I have as many friends that I actually love to just get on and, to be honest, just shoot the shit. Like all my regiment guys and a lot of people, like even you guys, I've loved talking to you guys. And it's about Foxhole. We wouldn't be here together without Foxhole. And I think that it's one of the best MMOs in its category. And I think it could be top notch. And with the best of them. And that's kind of why I want to keep having these podcasts and just talk about it, dude, and be on this experience because maybe 10 years down the road when this is as big as World of Warcraft, dude, they're going to look back at this old YouTube video and be like, look at these. Look at these gems, man. Look at these gems. Yeah, dude. Yeah, dude. Wow. Space Force, dude. Imagine. Please don't do that, Dad. That's a joke. Don't put us in space.
From our suffering. just goes up there.
Sputnik,
and it doesn't do
bro.
anything. Like,
You get to
just
fight.
Just a static thing that's up there.
You get to fist fight on the moon, dude. It's a fist fight brawl on the moon.
Okay,
Brother,
sounds pretty good.
Yeah.
What's that?
Well,
Punch in slow motion.
What's that, brother?
Robert, this is almost
Wow.
exactly an hour. I definitely want to thank you for your time. I know you're a busy man, and I was very happy to have you as a guest on the podcast, dude. Thank you very much.
No problem. I hope we can schedule it again. I know I am all over the place with my time, but I'm glad I was able to fit this in and do this. It was a lot of fun.
Heck yeah, man. I appreciate you again, and I hope you have a good night, brother.
Don't be afraid to sub to Robert. Sub to
yeah,
me.
sub to Robert.
Follow everybody.
All of us, boys.
Everybody.
FINCH, Robert
Everyone.
Loves Games, Big Bear. You guys have been fucking epic, man. I very much appreciate y'all having me, man.
I mean, if you want to end it too, Finch, that's perfect time as well. I was just getting, he wanted to leave,
man,
but hey, you know,
I had to say,
hey,
bro.
yeah,
Thank
you know, hey. All right, well,
Thanks
guys.
to Robert for being here too, man. Sick, dude.
Yeah, dude, Finch, again, thank you as well then, brother, and we'll just end the podcast here, guys. Thank you guys for watching, who came and watched it live, and I hope to have these guys on again, and thank you very much. You guys have a great night, and see you later. All right.
See you next war, baby.
See you next
See ya.
war.
I'll let you, bud.
See you guys.
See you, man.
All right.
Are we actually leaving? Is that what we're doing?
Well, yeah, I'm just, if anyone had questions in the chat, I was just going to kind of do an outro.
Okay.
It was a perfect,
you do that.
hour, but I can disconnect it, or you're able to leave whenever you want to. I know you're busy, but, no, like, I know, to be honest, like, I was really happy to have Finch on here, but, like, to actually have one of the top guys at content creators having you. Dude, it's true, though, man. Like, you're not, I wouldn't call you famous, but I would definitely call you Foxhole famous. I would definitely call you Foxhole famous, dude. And that's really cool that I get to actually see what you look like, first of all. This might be is this a face reveal? I don't know.
A couple of my other random videos, my earlier ones, have random face reveals, and I
Okay.
did on like 2 other podcasts. Like Grembo has a video where me and him talk, and I have
Okay.
my face on there. So sorry, you don't get the full like this is the first face.
No.
reveal.
It's my first time seeing you, though, man. Moy Dog, dude, that would be a hot podcast, bro. That'd be a hot
I don't even know if
podcast.
he's touched Foxhole in the last like month or so.
Well, I guess since we still got him and we're here, guys, do you guys have any questions for Robert? Do you guys have anything while he's still here?
Answer any questions if there's any in the chat, real quick. Happy to answer any questions about anything. Best tank you're asking? Okay, now you're asking me the wrong tank. question.
Yeah, that's not his forte. He's Logi Man, dude. He's like
I'm Logi Man. I can
prime
tell you
time.
the coolest looking tank, the Warden Battle Tank, is like one of the coolest looking ones. I like the Bardiche on the Kali side. I think that looks really cool too. How to fix boats or if they need fixing. Cronus had a super good idea that I kind of liked initially when he was talking about. Instead of having boats like have like essentially health and eventually they kind of sink, the boats have like sort of like a bigger base health, like pretty massive, and it's more about the bucketing system. You know what I'm saying? Instead of like getting the water out, it's kind of like if you've ever played Sea of Thieves, like the water rises and if it gets to a certain point, the ship is just going to sink, right? So like have that be the mechanic instead of there be a health system, so that you're not just like, I don't know, but there's a lot of artillery and things. You know what I'm saying though?
I
think
do.
that would be cool.
I do think that's true. I really wanted
Cronus's
to.
idea, so I'm not like claiming that or anything.
I want to
thought
get
it was a really
Cronus.
good idea.
I do want to get Cronus on here too, but
He'd be a good one to talk to.
I definitely wanted to ask you guys, what your opinions on naval even was, and since you said ask, what is the meaning of life? I mean,
Family, friends, all those important cheesy things.
oh man, money right there. He's a family man. Don't you have a date with your girl here soon, or did that already happen?
We actually did that before this. We watched some
Oh.
Severance. It was a good first episode.
Oh heck yeah, heck yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I like that, man. Well, guys, he is busy. I probably am gonna close it. I don't wanna keep him too long. So I am gonna wrap it up here, guys. Probably gonna close this out.
Yeah.
Thank you. Appreciate you guys. Chat. Thank you, boys. I'll probably wrap up any questions if you have any for me. But I'm going to close out of this where you can see my face on here. Kind of go into live. You can kind of see me here. Face cam. Yeah, you can't see me. We can just do watch together. Maybe. My face cam isn't. Hello. There's me and my buddy. Oh. Bro, get out of here. Okay, guys, I'm going to stop it there. I'm going to have to edit all this out. So, see you guys.